In this video, I will be interviewing Rhatia about what she looks for in a sitter as a parent before hiring one. Stay tuned. Hey sitters, welcome back. It's Lydia. Thanks for joining me. I am here with Rhatia. We just recently met and I wanted to get her opinion on what she looks for in a sitter before hiring one. So thank you, Rhatia, for being here with us and having some time for us to sit down and do this interview. It is important for sitters to know this kind of stuff because it is our job interview. We're going in hoping to get this job. And the more we know about what the boss is looking for, then the more we feel confident going in. So my first question is, have you ever used a sitter before? And if so, what age was your sitter and your daughter?
I have used sitters before. I've used au pairs. I think I started out using a babysitter when she was still a baby. I was working from home, but I was fully engaged in the work. So the babysitter actually sat outside of our bedrooms while my husband and I toiled away inside at our desks right beside the bed. Luckily, when I moved to St. Pete, I was able to hire au pairs through several agencies. And then when she became old enough, I actually went back to sitters.
So for those of us who don't know what an au pair is, could you explain that a little more for us?
An au pair is very similar to a live-in nanny, with the major difference that they are usually young people that are traveling from overseas to watch your child and live in the house with you as a family guest, really.
Oh, okay.
The exchange is that you get relatively low-cost childcare, live-in childcare, in exchange for maybe they're coming from another country and they need to practice their English. So they're usually coming over for that, and they would want to stay with an English-speaking family so that they could speak with them for the year or two that they're contracted to work in the country. They also get to go to lots of American sites and maybe some time to even travel around the country during their time off.
I know you mentioned that now you have started using sitters. What are your first steps to look for a sitter?
Well, in the past, I have gotten recommendations by other parents, maybe using the same sitter that they have. And that is preferably the way that I would like to hire a sitter. If I know that they have worked for another family that I know, then there's sort of automatic trust. But other avenues I've used have been urbansitter.com, I think it is, and also care.com.
Okay.
Those are apps that allow you to virtually look into their background, if they know CPR, if they have any special training. It also lets you know what kind of experience they have.
So I know you mentioned that you can see if they're background checked or CPR certified. Is it important to you that your sitters are CPR certified or water safety? I know you have a pool here at your house. Is it important for you for your sitters to know that?
Yes, I prefer that they at least know how to swim, so that if any of the children somehow get into the pool, that they can jump in and get them without hurting themselves. There usually is some level of trust before I would let them even take any of the children to the backyard and to the pool. So, I prefer not to hire people and then say, oh, everyone can just go downstairs and use the pool. Normally, they'd have to work for me a couple of times and convince me that they know anything about swimming.
Yeah.
Which we live in Florida, so most people do, but I prefer to know how they are with just watching them in the house before I let them take them in the backyard.
Yeah.
Because there is a danger posed by the pool and the canal.
Yep.
When it comes to how much you want to pay a babysitter, then you're looking at the list of qualifications, and CPR certified, any kind of, special first aid training, you would just expect to pay more. And of course, as she gets older and more active, I would want someone like that, and I would pay. So
that was going to be my next question.
Yes.
Would you pay for something like that?
Yes,
knowing that they were certified?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Especially if I were letting them take them into the pool, if I were letting them drive them around, go to the park. They can hurt themselves in the park, on the slides and the monkey bars. So, I would pay extra for that.
Okay.
I would.
All right. Well, you're jumping in there. That was my next question I had, is if you would let your sitters take your kids and drive them anywhere, or like where are the lines drawn for that?
If they say that they are driving, and this usually goes for my older babysitters as well, then I just sort of trust them, and I say, well, let's get a booster seat, or a car seat in the car. Make sure they always have one available, and I let them take them to nearby parks. I usually tell them which parks I allow, which parks I don't, how far they can go with the kids.
All right.
It also goes toward like level of responsibility. Like I would not just let anyone drive my kid around to the park. That's something I've got to get past a level of trust with a certain babysitter in order to say you can leave the house with my kid. It's one of those things where it's like, well, I mean, not everybody can cook. I need to know you're not going to burn down the kitchen. Not everybody can bring them to the pool. I have to know that you absolutely will be vigilant every second, to make sure that they're not running around the edge. And there's so many things that can go wrong. Like she knows how to swim now, but there's still so much. She can hit her head. She can slip and fall,
Yeah. Next question is, do you look at social media before hiring a sitter? Do you look at their Facebook, their Instagram profiles? Do you look at anything like that to see whether there's somebody that you want your kids to be around?
No, I have not. And I particularly have not with young people because, and this is interesting, because I kind of feel like I'm snooping if I do that. If I'm checking up on their Facebook or their Instagram accounts, I don't really know where the line is. It's funny because when I have hired people before for a job, nothing to do with babysitting, I would check out their social media. But if I'm hiring particularly young people, I don't look at their social media account.
You may not dive deep into their social media, but you're still keeping an eye out. You're still keeping an ear out from other parents that may have used them before or seen them. I mean, I work within the neighborhood, so my driving within the neighborhood, I've got to be careful. I drive their kids, and if you were to see me driving crazy, you'd never let your kid get in my car. So sitters, it's important for you, if this is something you really want to do, that you keep in mind that these parents are watching and keeping the ear out. It may not be that they're diving into your social media deep, but they are. They know other parents, and parents talk. I mean,
parents say so about how you worked for them is it's like gold dust. It's way more important than your social media to me. Social media kind of lies. There's only a certain part of the story.
That is true.
Those websites, those apps, the recommendations that are left, those can be kind of a lie too. Or that's just one side of the story. I'm going to listen to another parent, and then I'm going to watch you myself, and I'll watch you like a hawk. And whether I, use you repeatedly, and really trust you to do certain things with the kid, and certainly how much I pay will be contingent on the job that you do and the care that I see you taking.
I know that we talked about all the fun stuff and the great things that you look for in the sitters before hiring them. I meant to ask you earlier if you do an interview before hiring a sitter. I do try to encourage all my sitters to have an interview with both the parents and the kids together before they actually sit for them while they leave the house. Is that something that you do? And if so, is there anything in that interview that will deter you from hiring the sitter?
Yes. It's especially important for anyone that I'm hiring for long-term, ongoing babysitting, that we have, some sort of interview, a meet and greet, let's say, where they come over to the house, they see the house, I maybe take them on a bit of a tour. But yeah, I really want to see how they interact with Alana. There's nothing that's going to tell you about how they get along more than the very first time that they do an actual babysitting job. But there's a lot to be seen with just them meeting Alana for the first time, and if she feels pulled into a conversation, if they ask about the kid, what they like to do, what their favorite toy is, things like that, what their favorite cartoon is. It shows that they're really engaged in the kid, and if she goes off and starts answering questions that they haven't asked, pulling out toys, wanting to see this, wanting them to see this book or that toy, then I know that that there's something there, that there's chemistry.
So I know you said earlier that your daughter is old enough to actually tell you whether or not she liked the sitter or not. Is there anything that your daughter has said or could possibly say that you're like, oh, that sitter is not coming back whatsoever?
My goodness. She has not said anything to date that would be so bad that it would make me not hire someone back. I mean, of course, if she said anything in the realm of hitting or someone yelled at me, no go. They would never step foot in the house again.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she has never told me anything that has gotten a babysitter fired.
Okay.
She maybe has, not expressed a whole lot of interest in being babysat by them again.
Okay, all right. So it's more of a like, yeah, I didn't really like how she played with me, or just they didn't mend well.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And as for what would deter me, I know you've mentioned social media, and I have never really checked on any of my babysitters' social media accounts, especially if they're young, because I do feel like I'm kind of snooping a little. But now I'm thinking it might be a good idea. Like I said, I don't trust it fully. I don't trust people's persona on Instagram.
Which is true.
That is, it's tailored. It's tailored for their friends.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to be an influencer. Maybe they're crazy, But if I checked on their social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and I saw good things, maybe they are trying to be an influencer and they're actually quite serious, I would be pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I would be pretty impressed by it. Maybe they even have a LinkedIn account. Then that would just blow me out of the water. That would blow me out of the water.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, if I'm looking, if I see anything bad, really bad, please, girls with the booty pics and things like that, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do the sexy pics on your social media account. That pretty much gets you fired or not hired. If they're doing kid stuff and going, a little bit crazy for their friends, that's not so bad. They're young.
Yeah.
But if they're actually, trying to make their own show, or they have a talent, maybe they sing or they dance, and that's what's on Instagram, then I'd actually be pretty impressed.
Yeah.
If they were keeping up regularly with that.
Yeah.
If only because I run my own social media accounts, and that's tough, and it takes a certain amount of maturity. Hi. Her eyes got so wide, like, I just did something wrong.
She's so cute.
She is a cutie. She is a cutie. And she's high energy, so I would hope that anyone I hire is ready to chase her around a bit, have lots of conversation about Roblox, Minecraft, and latest episodes of Teen Titans and things like
Sitters,
that.
it is good to do your research on those. I should mention this. Whenever I go to an interview, I try to get a little bit, and I think I mentioned this in previous videos, I get a little idea of what they like, what they don't like, and what they do like. I do go home and search it up, whether it is Roblox or whatever. I do kind of try and get a little background knowledge before I go and sit for them again, and that way I'm able to connect with them on that level and make sure that I'm asking the right questions or knowing what they're talking about, so I can engage with them that way. But yeah,
they have plenty to share about their favorite books and their favorite cartoons. And what I've noticed really about the kids of this generation is that they're not even really looking at TV. You have to know what's going on the YouTube.
Oh.
Got to know what's going on the YouTube, because everyone's got their favorite YouTube kid, and the YouTube shows, especially the family-friendly ones.
Yes. Speaking of YouTube, you have a channel for you and your
do.
family, right? Why don't you tell them about that so that they can go and check you guys out as well?
Well, I run a family channel on YouTube called The Florida Murphys, and it's pretty much just about my family having fun, living and working here in St. Pete, the Tampa Bay area. I run it pretty much specifically for people that have traveled quite a bit and are either moving here or thinking about moving here, because I found this place so family friendly, so wonderful upon my very first visit. We worked diligently right after our very first weekend spent here to move here straight away. So I've got lots to share with parents about the places to go here, the clean parks, the wonderful like water activities you can do here, of course being so close to Disney World, work opportunities here.
All right. Well, thank you again for your time and for being here today and all your knowledge. It really does help these sitters kind of get an idea of what they're walking into or what their kind of parents are looking for within a sitter, so they can be that and they have an idea of where to start. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, sitters, so I'll leave her YouTube channel down in the description below. If you have any questions, please leave me those in the comment section below. If this is your first time here, I hope you stick around by hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification so you get notified every time I upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.